Alright, hey guys. So today we're gonna go over the ExMark walk behind. I think it's a 36-inch. Yeah, something like that. We're gonna go over how to change out the wheel motor on the ExMark walk behind. So I'm just gonna turn you around and go over what you're gonna need and how to do it. Is that right? Yeah. There you go. Try not to get y'all in the way here. There. Hopefully that works out for y'all. So what you're gonna need is you're gonna need a 1-inch wrench, a 7/8 wrench, a 13/16 socket, and a 1 1/8 socket. So the 13/16 is for 4 lug nuts that are on the tire. And so I already took these off, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take the tire off. So that's done. So just take that off. There. And here's the wheel nut. You're also gonna need a hammer of just about any kind. Just don't get one of the square ones. You use a ball peen, a heavy rubber mallet, a dead blow hammer, a 2-pound sledgehammer. Doesn't really matter. Just don't use a 5-pound, 10-pound sledgehammer while you're doing it. So then you'll take the 1 1/8 inch socket here, and you need an impact as well. You take it, you put it on here, and pop that bolt right off. So I'm not going to take this off because I already changed out the wheel motor on it. But then after you take this bolt off, what you'll do, here, let me put that back on right quick. And yeah, I realized that that's not an impact socket, don't worry. And so what you'll do then is you'll take a, let's say it's a 9/16 of that. So let's get. Oh, and make sure your motor's jacked up and the brake is off, because you're not gonna get the tire off with the brake on, and you're not gonna get the tire off with it sitting on the ground. Yeah. So then you take a 9/16 inch wrench, and you back these 4 bolts up, because you can try all damn day long to try to get this off right here. It will not come off. If it's been on there for a couple years, you aren't getting it off with pulley pullers. I've put the biggest pulley pullers and taken the biggest impact I have and try to break this thing off on both sides. I replaced both wheel motors on this thing. You won't get it off with the pulley pullers. That's what the hammer's for. So, but before we use the hammer, you would take this off right here, and you can just back it off slightly. You don't have to take it all the way off if you're really worried about it, but you're replacing the whole thing anyways if you're taking it off. So we're going to take this 9/16 inch wrench here and back these out as far as we can until it starts hitting this steel plate right here. And once we've done that, what you don't want to do is you don't want to go ahead and take out your hoses here. So what I do with mine is I take a piece of electrical tape, painter's tape, a rubber band, anything, and mark the hose here, and then mark on the steel plate on the side the hose goes on. That way I never get this hose put on this side. It just makes it a lot easier, and it doesn't go in reverse when you're trying to go forward. So you're gonna take the 1-inch wrench here, and you're gonna put it on bottom. You're gonna take your 7/8 inch wrench here and just turn that one counterclockwise. The whole reason, if you turn the top one counterclockwise, the bottom connector will pop off with it. And you do that for both sides. Now on this one, this one was having a leak, not only at the, here, I'll get the pump for you. this is the old pump. I put these in there so it stop leaking oil all over the place. But the seal right here on the inside had been completely gone out. So it's no longer functional, and it's just gonna end up into the scrap bin. 99% chance. And then the other, we had 2 leaks on this actually. The other one was this little hose, hose connector, which is this one right here. That's the new one on there. The reason it was leaking right here is because there's a little tiny crimp in it. I don't know if you can see that little tiny crimp, but that's the reason it was leaking. So once you do that, then you're gonna take your hammer after you back out these 4 bolts as far as you can against this plate. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna start whacking it. Because those 4 bolts right here on the back side of that plate, those are the only things that hold this this entire assembly together. You can take off these 4 bolts and take it over to a hydraulic press and do all that, but then you're getting oil everywhere. You're not damaging anything by doing this. And then you just start whacking it. So move my chair here. Then you just start whacking it. Don't go full force. Just don't be Hercules on it. Just tap it very gently. About 10-20 taps later, it's just something pop right off. Hey, you might get lucky. That's how that one over there was. The pulley pullers couldn't get the thing off at all. I took this hammer and I just went, and it popped right off. I mean, it just all depends on how sucked in it is on there. So you just take these 2 hoses off, back those 4 bolts off, take this bolt off, whack it a couple times. This pops right off. Your wheel motor slides right out. You slide your new one in. You bolt those 4 bolts back on. You set this plate on there. There's a little keyway in here, and you just line up the keyway. Make sure your key's still there. Line up your keyway, and you bolt it all back together, and then you take the wheel and you just slide it on there. Now I don't have any real. ExMark has their own torque specs for this stuff. I don't really for this sort of things. I've done it long enough where it doesn't. I've been doing this almost my whole life. It doesn't really matter, this torque spec on these lawnmower tires. What you want is you don't want to, if you're doing it with the impact, make sure you know your impact. Like my other little impact, this one will do all the work I need it to do. It's the Milwaukee Fuel 18 volt M18. That one will do everything I need to do. You saw me just cinch this down, and I know that's gonna stay there. Like there, it also has that bolt has also the one that came with it has pre-installed thread tape on it. But I know that thing's not gonna come off of there. At any point, if it comes off, that will blow my mind. And yeah, always make sure you do a cross pattern with any lug nuts. Any lug nuts, screws, bolts, it doesn't matter. Every single time you need to do a cross pattern, even if it's a 6 lug or a 6 screw thing, because you can't do a cross pattern like a star. You can't do that, so you don't want to do a. So you're just going to go from, if it was 6, you're going to do this one, then this one, and then you're going to jump over to the left or the right or left, whichever one you were doing first, and then you just go from there. Then you have 5. Or 4, and then you just keep on repeating the process. But yeah, I mean, it literally takes, if you have all the tools already set up for you, like, so you don't need a 1-inch wrench, a 7/8 wrench, a 9/16 wrench, a 13/16 wrench, socket, an impact, a small hammer, and a 1 1/8 inch socket. If you have all those set out and ready to go, you can knock this out in about, if nothing else is wrong with it, you can knock it out in about 20 minutes. And that's how you change the wheel motor. So after you change the wheel motor, you need to prime it. So to prime it, what you're gonna do is, what I like to do just a little bit, is I'll pour hydraulic fluid in these hoses. Is what I'll do. Then I'll put the hoses on there, and then I'll turn the tire a couple times. This one's been primed, so it's real hard to turn. But when you first get it, on there, it's gonna be almost impossible. I mean, you're gonna feel like no resistance. You can turn it with one hand. Like this one is slowly turning. When there's no fluid in there, or very little fluid, and it hasn't built up compression, you can just turn it with one hand just about. So what you'll do after you turn it a couple times, like 10, 15, maybe 20 times, I personally like to do it 20 times, just make sure you don't turn the mower on and about half throttle, and just bump the speed, the forward control up to like a 2 or a 3. And you gotta make sure your other wheel is turning. If your other wheel is not turning, that means it's flooded too. So you gotta do your other wheel first, because it has the fluid in there, and you want to get the air out of that one, or you're gonna be pushing air from this one sometimes into that one. It shouldn't be, but sometimes they there's a T up here, and sometimes it just pushes it off. So you want to prime that one back first. There shouldn't be a problem with it, but then you're gonna turn it about to a 3 or a 4 on your forward lever, and you're just gonna help this thing turn. And you're gonna eventually feel it, and it's gonna kick in, and it's gonna start going slowly. And just keep on leaving it running for about 10-15 minutes. And after it runs for about 10-15 minutes, it should be good, and you'll take it off the jack stand and floor jack here. Always use jack stands. Can't iterate that enough. Get your jack stands and take it off there. Make sure it's not moving, of course. Make sure your brake is on when you set it down too. Just make sure. And you're gonna take it for a little test drive. So if your motor is going too fast on your new wheel motor, like if it's spinning forward faster than your old one, then you're gonna go to this lever right here. You're gonna go to this lever right here, and you're gonna turn it. Let's see. You're gonna turn it counterclockwise. If you're looking at it from this way, you're gonna turn it counterclockwise. If it's moving too fast, if it's moving too slow, you turn it clockwise. That will adjust these handles up here. That will adjust these handles right here, and that's what makes the thing go forward and back. These connect to the pump. These connect to the pumps, allowing it to push fluid through. Other than that, your pumps are just circulating fluid. It's not doing anything. And that's everything. So what we did to this mower, it was having a hard start. Starts up just fine now. We've changed out the spark plugs. Sometimes it's just the spark plugs. What was wrong with these is the cap on top of the spark plug was not seating all the way. So we just bought new spark plugs. They're like $4 a piece. You put them on there. The client, he went through a dandelion field, I guess, and clogged up the entire intake. So we cleaned out the intake. We greased and sharpened the blades and the spindles. We did not sharpen the spindles or grease the blades. We greased the spindles and sharpened the blades, just if y'all want that joke out there. And we checked all the fittings. We replaced the connectors. We cleaned up, checked for any other leaks, refilled the reservoir, primed it, and checked all the wheels. I always check all the wheels. We changed the oil. So this one takes, for your hydraulic fluid, I almost forgot, for your hydro fluid on this machine, the company states 15W50. and then other people say use 15W40. I'm doing what the company says. I go, if you can't find 15W50 for whatever reason from Walmart or any auto shop, 15W is 40 for a substitute. But I do this for business. I'm using 15W50, what the factory calls for. So 15W50 goes in there, and then your motor. This is a normal Kawasaki engine. It just takes regular old SAE30, and then for your oil filter, this one takes a 7010. Yeah, 7010 filter, Kawasaki filter. Those are the last 4 digits on the filter. If you have a 7007 filter, which is the old filter, that also replaces the old filter, the 7010 filter. And so yeah, so the guys come and pick this up today. I just wanted to get this video out here real quick. Jack it up. 13/16 on your lug, 1 1/8 for the center bolt. Make sure you have an impact. Tape your lines. You're gonna need a 1-inch wrench and a 7/8 inch wrench for your connectors, and you're just gonna pop those off. And then you're gonna need a 9/16 to back out those 4 bolts on the back. Tap it with a hammer, pops right off. Slide it out. Slide a new one in. Make sure it's all clean. Slide a new one in. Put those 9/16 inch bolts back in. Is reasonably tight. Don't strip them out, because if you strip them out, then you're gonna be all types of screwed. It's kind of hard to strip them out though too. And then just line up your keyway on the bracket for your wheel, and bolt it on there. It slides right on there, and bolt on all your lug nuts again. Check your tire pressures. Go through your adjustments here, and everything will be running perfectly. And that's it. Thank y'all. And I'm trying to get better at the videoing. I'm sorry that it's such crap, but right now I'm stuck with my iPhone and 2 rubber bands holding it on a tripod. I'm working towards it. But yeah, mention what you like or dislike about this video. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and subscribe, because there will be more videos coming out soon. I'm trying to help y'all figure out these sorts of things. And yeah, just comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks. Have a good one. Bye. Oh, also, this is what I'm talking about with why I put the plugs in there, and yeah, it's still leaking. Just from that one plug. It's driving me up the wall. Anyways, thanks. Have a good one.